Tonight on NewsVision, Miami Centennial Celebration ends with chaos on campus after fireworks misfired into the crowd, forcing spectators to run for cover. We'll bring you all the details. Plus, the Dominican community here in South Florida is mourning the hundreds of lives lost during a roof collapse at a nightclub in the country's capital. And later on, Canes join the city at the annual Miami Beach Pride Parade and festivities. We'll tell you how the community came together to celebrate.
Having these events to show that we are here, we are noticed, is very important.
All this and a lot more on tonight's show, and it starts right now. Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Christopher Perez.
And I'm Lauren Harrington. Thank you for joining us. On Tuesday, the University of Miami held its Centennial Celebration to mark 100 years since the creation of the U.
The day's festivities ended with a fireworks show over Lake Osceola at the center of campus, but some fireworks did not shoot off as planned.
Many students had to run after fireworks fired off near the crowd.
Kayla Butter is live at Lake Osceola to tell us more. Kayla, what happened?
During Centennial Celebration on Tuesday night, there seems to have been a malfunction with the fireworks show. Fireworks were set up on wooden rafts here on Lake Osceola here behind me, and students, faculty, and guests were sitting along the grass watching the fireworks show from here. But as soon as the first set of fireworks went off, one of the rafts caught fire, which eventually led to fireworks shooting toward a crowd of students sitting on the grass near Eaton Residential College. Students began running away from the lake and toward Eaton Residential College to avoid being hit. We reached out to the university for a statement, but they did not return any of our calls. The Coral Gables Fire Department was on campus during the event for safety purposes, but they say that they have no record of any incident occurring that night. No formal injuries have been reported. Live at Lake Osceola, Kayla Butter, UMTV.
Thank you, Kayla. The fireworks show was just one of the events for Canes to celebrate the U's 100th birthday. Everybody also had a chance to enjoy a carnival on campus, free food, giveaways, outdoor musical presentations, and much more. The University of Miami kicked off its Centennial Celebration with an unforgettable day. Tens of thousands of students, alumni, and families filled the foot green for games and giveaways, grabbed free merch from tents lining the lakeside walkway, and took some photos under orange and green light displays. As the night went on, the celebration continued with crowd-filled concerts and a show that lit up Lake Osceola.
I love being in. I love going here. I want to control the road.
And while students soaked in the festivities and freebies, faculty and staff reflected on how far the university has come.
You see that passing of the torch of how much academically that President Shalila has helped the university grow, and then for President Frank to carry that on, and now to Echeverria to continue this spark, and just see how Miami has skyrocketed. So those are some of the changes that have been that really helped.
For Mortensen, it's not just another night on campus. It's once-in-a-century celebration filled with orange and green spirit and pride that's been growing for 100 years at the U.
Like it's one of the rare times where the entire community is here celebrating something together.
And the festivities for the University Centennial are just getting started. Throughout the year, UM will host alumni reunions, faculty panels, student showcases, and a time capsule ceremony, all to celebrate its 100th birthday.
I'm excited for homecoming, doing skirt boning, more football games, the Hurricane Christian concerts.
The Centennial marks more than a milestone. It's a year-long tribute to UM's history and a bright future. Under the theme, "The Future is You," UM continues to celebrate a legacy of innovation, research, and student success. Along with the university's birthday, the School of Communication celebrated its 40th anniversary. The school hosted an open house for students, alumni, and guests to learn more about the many programs from broadcast to motion pictures.
A fire caused by an appliance in the University Village Building 3 on Monday, April 8th, displaced 36 students out of their apartments. The fire was caused by a dryer setting off the building's sprinklers and activating the fire alarms. Students whose apartments were impacted by smoke and water damage were relocated to the Thesis Hotel in Coral Gables, and their cane card access to all University Village was revoked. Residents may only access their apartments with a housing supervisor accompanying them.
I have early classes in the mornings. I also don't have a car on campus, and so I'm just very frustrated that I'm out for days without any of my real things, and I don't have like an actual home.
Injuries from the fire were reported. According to an email sent to the affected residents, move-ins back into Building 3 will begin Friday at 11 a.m.
Rescue operations at a collapsed nightclub in the Dominican Republic have now shifted to recovery. The tragedy struck in capital Santo Domingo when the roof of a packed nightclub collapsed during a performance. Nicole Kikkert is live at One Miami Church, where the South Florida Dominican Community is gathering to remember those lost. Nicole?
Right now at the Corpus Christi Church in Miami, a mass is being held to honor the victims who passed in that tragic nightclub collapse in the Dominican Republic. Last night, members of the Dominican community came together and held a vigil for those victims. And tonight is a way for them to come together and pray for those affected by this tragedy. The roof of the popular nightclub Jet Set collapsed during a packed concert on Monday night. More than 220 people have been killed and close to 200 others were rescued from the rubble. It's unclear how many people are still unaccounted for. Among the dead are popular merengue star Ruby Perez, who was performing that night with his orchestra, and former Major League Baseball pitcher Octavio Donnell. And here in Miami, members of the Dominican community are absolutely devastated by this tragedy. Tonight's service is a way for them to come together and support each other during this time while paying tribute to the lives that were lost. Reporting live in Miami, I'm Nicole Kikkert, UMTV.
This is Coast to Coast, bringing you news from across the United States. I'm Andres Jaime Mendez.
And I'm Emma Balleste. New data shows U.S. inflation slowed sharply in March, cooling to a 6-month low.
But the positive price news may be short-lived, with economists worrying continued fallout from the Trump administration's tariff policies could send the cost of goods soaring. Thursday's Consumer Price Index data showed U.S. inflation cooled to an annual rate of 2.4% in March. Prices fell 0.1% from February, the first time prices have fallen monthly since May 2020. Normally, this trend would stoke optimism, but economists warn this latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics doesn't take into account how tariffs could impact consumer goods prices going forward.
We are completely blind looking at the market. Today's CPI numbers, for example, really tell us nothing.
President Donald Trump's aggressive trade moves have already upended global markets and could make imports and likely end products for customers markedly more expensive. On Wednesday, the president announced a 90-day pause on all of his recently announced so-called reciprocal tariffs, except for those on China, which he raised again.
Everybody wants to come and make a deal, and we're working with a lot of different countries, and it's all going to work out very well.
Still, the escalating trade conflict with China, along with fresh pain from tariffs imposed on key goods, steel, aluminum, and cars, stressing markets, consumers, and businesses alike.
What would have cost me maybe $30,000 with a reasonable tariff now is going to cost me almost $200,000.
There is just not a pathway for everyone to pivot and change and magically create this manufacturing that doesn't exist today.
China vowed to, quote, fight to the end in this ongoing battle.
And now a wave of concern is growing for many American consumers as this trade war could significantly impact the global markets and raise prices on most goods.
Federal judges in New York and Texas have issued orders to block some deportations of Venezuelan migrants who are challenging the Alien Enemies Act.
They are part of a lawsuit against the Trump administration's use of the law to deport alleged gang members without due process.
We also are working hard on enforcing the Alien Enemies Act, which I'm sure you saw the Supreme Court made a decision on yesterday. And we are going to continue to use that to deport the worst of the worst out of our communities and make sure they're facing consequences.
Wednesday's rulings come after the American Civil Liberties Union filed an emergency lawsuit.
The litigation followed the Supreme Court's decision to lift a temporary restraining order challenging Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act.
The Trump administration has canceled more than 300 international student visas across the country and ordered those students to leave the United States immediately.
In most cases, it is unclear why the visas have been revoked, but some of the cancellations appear to be connected to a pro-Palestinian protest participation.
I think that it's sending a horrible message to people that we should instill fear into people that, aren't like us or maybe weren't born here. And I think that it's a really scary thing to do to the general public, because first we start with people that have visas, and then we start with permanent residents, and then what's to say you can't turn on your own citizens?
More than 80 universities, including Harvard, Stanford, UCLA, and Michigan, have reported revoked international students' visas.
Some of the affected students have filed lawsuits. Meanwhile, the White House has appealed a federal court's ruling that restored the Associated Press's access to President Trump.
A federal judge who was appointed by Trump ruled on Tuesday that the White House's decision to ban the Associated Press is unconstitutional.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration banned the AP's access to the president's events, including in the Oval Office and on Air Force One.
The action was to punish the news organization over its decision to continue using the phrase the Gulf of Mexico.
President Trump renamed the body of water Gulf of America in an executive action after taking office in January.
The Associated Press said that the ruling, quote, affirms the fundamental right of the press and public to speak freely.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. Back to you.
Thank you, Emma and Andres. Coming up, one South Florida organization is helping former convicts re-enter society through employment. That and a lot more just ahead.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
Second chances are often hard to come by, but one Miami nonprofit is helping women take a leap into a new life chapter. Amanda Mohamad has the story.
For Parker Leanne, life is about second chances.
I was in a gang. I was incarcerated for 20 years. So when I came home, it was like if I didn't have a platform and a path to be on, I probably would have reverted back to what I knew before.
Parker's second chance was a little store called the Dragonfly Thrift Boutique in South Miami that hired her after she was released from prison in August 2024. And she is not alone. All the employees here are part of a re-entry program for formerly incarcerated women. Established in 2009, LEAP, which stands for Ladies Empowerment and Action Program, is a women's prison transition program with a goal of teaching essential life skills to prepare women who were in prison to go back to living productive lives when released.
Didn't even know how to use a computer, or a phone, because you have to remember I was locked up 20 years. I'm able to create PDF files, spreadsheets. I will never even had any knowledge of what these things were. And the skills of being a leader are things that I've learned while working here.
LEAP's current director of reentry is one of those leaders. Nancy Denike is a LEAP graduate herself. She went through the entire program after serving a 5-year sentence.
The program at Dragonfly is 3 months for employment, and then after 3 months we help them to get permanently employed if they want to do that. Some of the ladies actually stay on here, and then others move on to another type of business.
Along with employment at the Dragonfly Boutique lined up for women upon their release, LEAP provides temporary housing, specialized support services, an entrepreneurship program, and more. Thanks to LEAP services, Parker is discovering her true passion.
I'm in school for addiction studies. I want to be a counselor, and I want to help youth that struggle. I'm trying to create like a nonprofit organization, which is a boxing gym for kids, and is also therapy.
More than 400 women have graduated from LEAP, each one gaining the tools and support they need to rebuild their lives and take flight into success.
It's changed my life. I don't even have regrets about what happened.
Amanda Mohamad, UMTV.
Through the power of music and mentorship, one nonprofit is helping kids from the city's most vulnerable communities to discover their future and shine in the face of hardships. Emma Balleste has the story.
In the heart of Miami, one nonprofit is changing young people's lives one note at a time.
When I was in middle school, I wasn't like a good kid, I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to. But this program made me feel like whatever I do, they're going to be able to help me because it's like music changed my life.
The program is called Guitars Over Guns, and its main goal is to empower young students from the most vulnerable communities to find their voice and define their own future. Guitars Over Guns was founded in 2008 in one Miami middle school in an effort to provide a creative outlet for troubled kids. But today the program is much more widespread.
So when I started in 2018, we had 13 programs. We were serving 200 students per year and had 20 teaching artists. And then today we have 37 programs, 65 teaching artists, and we're serving around 1,000 students.
And for many of the Guitars Over Guns members, it isn't just about learning how to play music, it's discovering the feeling of confidence that music can provide.
Yeah, you can dance to music because it sounds good, but you can get an emotion out of music because it feels good. If music makes you feel good, it sounds good, but where's the feeling? So they really helped me find the feeling that I like.
And it's not just the music that's transformative at Guitars Over Guns, it's also the mentors.
The number one indicator in how successful a young person is going to be is how many caring adults do they have in their life. And so Guitars Over Guns uses music and the arts as the mechanism to put caring adults into young people's lives.
Through the power of music, this organization is helping students shine even in the face of hardships and overcome the challenges they face every day.
My goal is for us to be serving 3,500 students per year. It's for us to have a presence within every single middle school and high school where 85% or more of the student body population qualifies for free and reduced lunch, meaning they're living at or below the local poverty line. Talent is universal, opportunity is not. So we're trying to fill that gap as much as we can.
The program mentors middle and high schoolers, and after graduation, students can join the alumni program, which offers continued support and mentorship.
I'm ready to be a mentor because I feel like I'm ready to give back what they gave to me. Guitars Over Guns have helped me and my family tremendously. So I think that I am ready to give back what they gave to me.
For UMTV, I'm Emma Balleste.
Speaking of music, Lauren, were you able to go to the Centennial Celebration on Tuesday?
I actually was, but it was quite humid and rainy out. Hopefully it will clear up this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully it does. But our student meteorologist, William DePaola, is here to tell us more.
William, what can we expect this weekend?
Guys, well, it's going to be a really nice weekend, actually. Beautiful weather to be expected. As we look outside the area right now, look at this right now. Nice temperature here in Miami, 77 degrees. Pretty much all of southern Florida is hovering right around those mid to upper 70s right now, even the Keys, which is pretty rare to see everybody at the same temperature. And as we push into the morning tomorrow, we're going to be waking up to beautiful temperatures. Look at this, 64 degrees here in Miami. A little bit cooler on Saturdays. We're going to be seeing a front move through. And with that, unfortunately, we're going to be seeing some rain. As we do look throughout the area tonight, we see some spotty showers popping up a little bit later. So if you are heading outside tonight, maybe bring an umbrella with you. Could see some spotty showers. And then as we push into tomorrow, luckily during the day tomorrow, we don't see much rain, but unfortunately during that nighttime commute into that late evening hours, once again, we do see those spotty showers coming in once again, and we see that front pushing through. We do see some spotty showers with that front as it does finally move through here early on Saturday. So just make sure you bring an umbrella with you. Are heading out early in the morning. But luckily, as we see that front push away, we see beautiful conditions here in South Florida. So definitely going to be a weekend. Maybe you want to head over to the beach. If you are going out to the beach, just be mindful. We do see a small craft advisory here for any of the coastal waters. This just means that waves could be in between the 5 to 10 foot range. With this, we could see some people potentially hitting some of those waves, maybe going out and getting some surfing done. With that, just be mindful because we do see a high rip current risk. Now, this is going to extend all the way from here in Miami, all the way up the eastern seaboard of Florida. So just be mindful. Make sure you are paying attention to those lifeguards and those flags that are flying. And as we do push throughout the next 7 days, we have those rain chances I was talking about on Friday. But then as we push throughout the weekend, we have beautiful temperatures and very sunny skies.
Thank you, William. Over the weekend, many Canes headed to South Beach for the start of Miami Beach Pride. The annual event is in its 16th year of celebrating the LGBTQ+ community, and Brian Matute got the chance to check out some of the festivities.
University of Miami senior Michael Robinson Jr. could not wait to participate in this year's Miami Pride with his fellow LGBTQ Canes.
it's one of the best events of all year. So you get to go on the bus with all your friends to Miami Beach Pride. You get to walk in the parade, which a lot of people don't get to do. You get to be on a float. You get to really show your community.
On the first weekend of April, Michael, along with dozens of other UM students, faculty, and staff, joined some 200,000 others marching for their pride on the streets of Miami Beach. Thousands of spectators lined up to see the parade floats along Ocean Drive. But despite its scale, the event allows everyone to feel included in the community.
It provides an opportunity for us to come together, to feel safe, to celebrate each other, celebrate our lives, have a sense of belonging in our community, and really to just support and show love and acceptance.
Miami Pride has been taking place since 2009, but this year the celebrations come during a trying time, as the Trump administration is attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion policies.
It's showing up, it's showing that we're here, showing that we're seen, showing that we're valid in our existence, especially when there's so many outside factors trying to get rid of us.
For many, Miami Pride is a great opportunity to showcase who they are and what it means to be part of the LGBTQ community.
I think it destigmatizes what maybe the LGBT people look like, because we all come in all shapes and forms, we're very diverse, and I think that shows when we attend events like this and we walk together to show unity.
The event symbolizes empowerment, pride, and love, themes that everyone can relate to and learn from.
I think if folks just, come, talk to folks, have the opportunity to learn from one another, they'll see that this community is just like anybody else.
So having these events to show that we are here, we are noticed, is very important.
For UMTV, I'm Brian Matute.
This week, the Cosford Cinema at the University of Miami Coral Gables campus is hosting the Miami Film Festival celebrations. Events such as movie screenings, guest speakers, and alumni nights highlight the week. Many of the movie screenings are student-made, and one Venezuelan filmmaker used the opportunity to highlight the importance of Venezuelan filmmakers in the United States. Luisa de la Villa, the director of Niños de las Brisas, said, quote, "We think it's important to be able to see Venezuelans in a positive way, because lately there has been so much negative news. It's important. Let's see what response we get." It's not too late to catch some of the movies screened at the Miami Film Festival. It ends on Sunday.
Still to come, Canes basketball is gaining 3 new players from across the country. We'll introduce you to them after a short break.
It's time.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Welcome to sports. I'm Taryn Jacobs. Canes baseball picked up their first ACC series win this past weekend in Chapel Hill against the University of North Carolina, and they returned to the 305 last night to continue the momentum. Let's head to Marklight Field to see how they fared against Bethune-Cookman. Reese Lumpkin gets the nod for the Canes, sends that one down the middle, and again he's looking to bounce back from his past 2 performances. Now Cuvée gets the bats going early in the first for the Canes. Now Rodriguez, top of the second for Bethune-Cookman, sends that one out of the light, their only run for the night. Now top of the third, scooped up by Ogden. He throws that one to first, a good stretch to get the out by Hudson. Next batter, Lumpkin with another strikeout. He had 3 strikeouts on the night. Now bottom of the third, Fabio Peralta with a moonshot. He brings in 2 runners with him, and Miami goes up 4-1. Now fast forward to the bottom of the 6th, Derek Williams with a bomb out of the park. 436 feet, his 7th home run on the season. Miami up 10-1. Bottom of the 7th, Jake Ogden with a hit into deep left field. He'll bring a runner into home, and Miami will win 11-1 in a mercy rule in the 7th inning. Their 2nd win in a row for the Canes. Now from Canes baseball to men's hoops, Miami men's basketball is looking at an entirely new roster for next season. The names include Malik Renew, the 5th-ranked power forward and 2-time All-Big Ten honorable mention from Indiana, and another Big Ten recruit in Trey Donaldson from the University of Michigan. Donaldson led Michigan in assists per game, and his postseason experience will be key for this new team. Ernest Uday Jr., a center from TCU, a threat to be reckoned with in the paint. 70% of his made field goals were dunks, and most recently, True Washington from New Mexico, who was the 6th-ranked combo guard in the portal. Although neither of the Canes hoop squad saw postseason play, March Madness just finished up, and there wasn't much madness at all. For the first time since 2008, the Final Four consisted of all 4 1 seeds, and in the national championship, it was the Houston Cougars against the Florida Gators. Houston briefly pulled away after only being up 3 points at the half, but then the Gators came back and slowly chipped away. The Gators were crowned natty champs after only holding the lead for 64 seconds all game. Walter Clayton Jr. was awarded Most Outstanding Player for the tournament. And on the women's side, the University of Connecticut took home its 12th national title and its first since 2016. The Huskies dominated the South Carolina Gamecocks all game, winning with a score of 82-59. One standout is Paige Beckers, who was a key asset for the team this season and is projected to be the #1 pick in this year's WNBA draft. And finally, Alejandra Morales introduces you to one UM alumna who hopes to qualify for the Olympics despite some serious setbacks.
22-year-old Haitian-American Aaliyah Shipman has practiced Taekwondo since she was a kid and had even qualified for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
So when I went, I won my first match. I was like, oh, wait, maybe I can do this. And then I won my second match, and that's how I was able to qualify for the Olympics. So it was something that I honestly didn't think was going to happen, but it was a dream come true.
But that dream was short-lived. At the time of her Olympics qualification, Aaliyah was competing for the Haiti national team. But the year before that, she competed for Team USA. And the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Taekwondo Federation said she violated eligibility rules when she switched national teams. So Aaliyah never got to board her flight to Tokyo.
Basically, USA, they got mad that I left their team and I qualified for the Olympics, so then they made a whole court case, lawsuits.
Aaliyah says the lawsuits and her disqualification were unjust because of a technicality.
They had come up with some kind of rule that wasn't in place beforehand, the same rule that they have broken also many times, and they used that against me. I was fighting at senior level, not junior level, so this rule didn't apply to me.
When they disqualified her from the Olympics, she got sad. So we went through a depression moment, but I had to fight it. I had to you're okay, you're young, you're still gonna do it, you're still gonna be a champion.
Aaliyah decided to keep fighting and competed to qualify in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. But just 5 weeks before the qualifications, she tore 3 ligaments in her leg and did not qualify. But despite all the setbacks, Aaliyah continues training, fighting, and inspiring everyone around her.
And then the first day I saw her, I was impressed because I heard a lot of things about her, and I thought she was very motivational character, knowing everything she completed.
And in one word, how could you describe Aaliyah?
Inspirational.
It feels great to be on the other side as a mentor, a coach, and a teacher because I love to see the people around me getting better.
And she hasn't given up the Olympic dream just yet. With support from her coach and teammates, Aaliyah hopes to qualify for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. For UMTV, I'm Alejandra Morales.
Now tomorrow morning, I'll be talking about all these sports stories and more on the annual live UMTV This Morning show. This hour-long special presentation will be aired live from Lakeside Patio at 9 a.m. We'll show you how UM celebrated 100 years and feature University President Joe Echeverria's thoughts on the future of Miami, plus a preview of this year's spring football game, live music, and more. I'll be back in the studio at 4 a.m. tomorrow and to get ready for that show.
Well, I'll definitely be up early to watch.
Yeah, and I'll be right there alongside you, Taryn.
But that's all the time that we have for this week's edition of NewsVision.
Join us again next week at the same time. Have a good night.